Hey guys, Sendrith here in the City of Mist, and I wanted to show you one of my favorite camps because it was just so fun in a lot of different ways. And it's one of my, it's one that I did, I think around 48, 49. Um, the City of Mist, I think, is the best place to go to after you finish killing Spectres, which every cleric should do because it makes you a ton of money. That's how Sendrith was able to afford all of this cultural armor and this face spider carapace that he's wearing and some other pieces you can't even see. All from the money I made from those Spectres. And then I came here a little late. I could have come here a little early, but the Spectres make better money anyway. I think I came at 48 or 49. I think at 48. And at 48, I did the stables. When you turn and go down to face the stables, here I might as well just show where that camp is since I'm here. And I've got Sao. So this is a nice open safe area here in City of Mist. This is called the arena, this camp here. Oh, to do the I might have some respawns trying to get back to the stables. Looks like not. Someone's been clearing this area out. So this is the stable camp. This is the where you come in from the entrance across this bridge. Then you turn left and you're at the stables. Now to the left here, most of these mobs are slightly lower, and to the right, you're going to find slightly more blue mobs. There's going to be a spawn right there, and then each one of these houses has one or two mobs in them. I think one of them's got three. So you're going to have to do some pacifying or calming probably. Here we go, respawn's coming. So be aware of that. Let me sneak in here while it's still open. And that's a great spot to come. I think I finished the Spectres at 48. I came and I ground out a level at the stables, and at 49, there were just too many greens over there, so I decided to come try something new. And this is the Moat camp. Now, the Moat camp, it's a little hard to get to, and you've got living mobs. But as I've said before, we actually have a decent enough living nuke, Retribution. It's almost as good as our undead nuke. And I'm going to show you why this camp is so fun. So there's a patrol that I've got to worry about. You see me using the camera to get an angle on him. I'm going to calm him from over here. I should probably pacify him because, yeah, let me get my pacify up, although obviously not for him now, just because I need the extra time. Now at my level, and I think at level 50, you don't have to pacify these guys depending on their level. This Phantom I probably should, because Phantoms are slightly higher. But that Vapor I wouldn't have to at level 50. Now I'm level 53, so I definitely don't have to. Now let's see how many undead we got. It might be good to just pacify the living and throw on an invis versus undead. Let me see if I can get an angle of vision. There's an undead there. Oh, we got a living fog golem. I can't really, two living there. So we're going to have to do a lot of pacifying anyway. So I'm not going to do the invis versus undead strategy. Now this guy I pacify, and the reason is I'm going to walk practically right through him. And pacify does a better job at keeping you from getting aggro when you're sitting on top of the mob. We already did the patrol. Now I think sometimes I can hop over this gap and avoid the apparition's range, but let's just hit him. It's nice being a higher level, getting everything. Now the fog golems obviously are basically the highest level living mobs, and the greater plague bones and the phantoms I think are the highest level undead mobs. There we go. No resist at all. Now this is why I should have used pacify, because I literally have to run through this guy here, but it looks like I didn't get him. So here we are at the Moat camp. Now in a second I'm going to show you why this camp is so fun. Usually we want to start with the patrol. You want to break it up so that you're splitting up these spawns and giving a little bit of room between them. That way, let's just get this one started before he goes away. Even though I don't have the spells I would normally use up, I want to clear him out, and I'm going to show you why this camp is fun on the next poll. This is just going to be a normal kill right here. Okay, so he's rooted. Let me get rid of my Banish Undead and put a smaller living nuke in that place there. And let's just take this Vapor Golem out. See, these guys, I just conned a Vapor Golem earlier that conned blue to me. So this camp is still viable for me. I'm going to hang out here for a little while. Oh yes, there's a graphic error where every time you nuke these guys, I forgot about this, it looks like root breaks. You just got to watch for the message to see if root really did break or not. And they run at you, they catch up to you, and they even start swinging at you. Or they just run past you. And then a second later, they reappear right where you rooted them. It's really confusing, and it's going to be even worse right now because since the last patch, there's a bug. Uh-oh. He'll be back. Usually, they just sort of appear. There we go. Swimming in the air. There's a bug that where the root break messages, the dot break messages are not working. See, that time it actually did break. There we go. So if it actually does break, he will get up to you and start bashing you. But if it doesn't, he'll just run through you and disappear for a second. Kind of a little extra fun here. There we go. All right. So I'm going to pause this video, and then I'm going to show you why I love this camp by killing one of these fog golems. And the reason I love it is I figured out a fun strategy. It might not be the most mana efficient, but I just think it's fun. Where they've got to run around these ramparts here to get to me. So what I do is I equip a Sound of Force, which is an 8-second stun, and it does 280 damage. And see, one of the things that I was concerned about as a cleric trying to preserve mana while soloing was the root breaking when getting nuked. So I like to get as you've seen in the past, I like to calm before I pull, so I get that nuke. If they're too close, for example, in lower guck, where when I get line of sight, I'm going to aggro them, I will calm first so I can get that first nuke off without having to worry about it breaking root. And later I thought about it and realized I should be using lull there for maximum mana efficiency, because lull will definitely work. It lands just as easily, it just doesn't last for as long. So with these guys, obviously I have the distance where I get the nuke. I don't have to use a calm. But then I wanted to do as much damage before I even had to root them at all. Again, so that I don't break root and have to recast root. So what I figured out was I hit them with a retribution. They start running, and it takes them long enough to where I can hit them with a Sound of Force, which will do 280 damage. It's about half of retribution, more than half. And they'll be right about the middle of the bridge, and that stun will hold them there for the duration of another cast of retribution. And then I root them. And depending on where they're starting from, I can hit them, 2 nukes and a damaging stun and they're still not at me by the time my root lands. They usually get rooted just like a couple feet away from me. So I just thought that was kind of fun, nuking them a bunch while they're running towards me and then rooting them here. Now, when you are 49, getting to this camp is going to be a challenge. You're going to have critical calm and pacify resists, and you're going to have to do the root and camp out method. Maybe it might take you 2 tries to get here each time you come. But once you're here, as long as you're careful with your pulls, it's relatively safe, except sometimes there are some of these graphic errors like you saw, and sometimes they do result in the mob ending up in the water. Now, when that happens, the mob is going to swim over there, and he's going to climb up this bank here, and then he's going to run around, and he's going to come at you. I don't think you're going to have time to camp out. In that case, you got to gate out, and you got to work your way back to this camp. But aside from that, the mobs are a wonderful level, half living, half undead, so you do get to use your undead nukes. You're turning other natural a good amount of the time. Even at 49, all the nukes I'm using, you have them at the lower levels where you might be coming to this camp. So we're using the same spells, the spells you're going to see me use. So it's just a matter of having enough mana. And I think you probably will. You probably will. So we killed this patrol. I've got a decent amount of mana. I forget how much these fog golems have. Let's pop over to our browser and see how much HP the fog golems have. so we can figure out when I can take him out so we don't have to wait for me to min up as long. All right, so here we go. A Fog Golem, 39 to 43, 4,000 HP. That's not too bad. Now we're using the nuke Retribution. Not entirely, because we are going to use that Sound of Force, but this will just give us the general idea. We're using 240 mana, so their Banish Undead, which is our best undead nuke, uses 225 mana and does 585. This uses 240, it's only 15 more mana, and it does 516. So it's only doing, you know, like 30 or 40, 50 less damage. Well, I guess 60%, 60 HP less damage, and it's only costing 15 more mana, so it's not that much of a difference. The biggest difference is that it does have a slight cooldown. Does have a slight cooldown. I don't see any mention of the cooldown here, but it does have a slight cooldown. What I like to do with that cooldown is what I call the Cleric Candy Dance. That is where I sit down, and after the spell becomes castable again, I keep my eye on my mana, and I look for a tick, just so I'm getting a med tick in there since I have to wait anyway. So that's my little trick there. So the other patrol is far away, and this is the time to go. So let's hit this other Fog Golem with a Calm and hope we don't get a resist. Oh, we got a resist, but not critical. All right, this should do it. All right, here we go. Now watch this. I like to stand as far away to get the extra range. And then let's hit him with our big boy, Retribution. Let's see how much damage that does in percent. It does 14%. So that 4k HP is significant. See, there's the Sound of Force. Boom, look at him stuck on that bridge. Then I'm going to hit him again with another Retribution. Boom. And then he was close enough to catch up to me. And he hit me once, twice, a few times. Not too bad. There we go. Look at his HP is already down to 67%. Hit him with 2 big nukes and a damaging stun. Now I just lay into him. And you can watch my Cleric Candy Dance right here. It's not really, I might just call it a mana dance. That's more accurate. So there we go. I sit down. The nuke's still down. I'm looking at the spell icon, and now it's back up. Looking at mana, 1382, ticks up. Now I hit it again. So I just got an extra 15-20 mana because I sat until the tick. And we're not getting any graphic errors right now. So I think that happens more on that little bridge. There's the tick. And those ticks add up, those med ticks. You know, I'm getting an extra 20 mana versus what I might have got otherwise. I think around 20. You know, you do that 3 or 4 times, 5 times, it's an extra 100 mana. So he's almost done. And when you are a lower level and mana is an issue, you're going to want to figure out when he's low on HP, can I pull it off with a smaller nuke like Wrath? And how much of their HP does Wrath take away? But as you can see, he's the perfect amount for just another big nuke. And I think that's because the Sound of Force balanced it out quite nicely. So we just hit him again with the Retribution. Oh, look, he survived, just barely. Now, my options at this point are to run up and bash him with my hammer. Not recommended. Who knows how long it's going to take your Cleric, but to land a single hit. I mean, Clerics, you know what I'm talking about. Oh, that's the wrong spell. Okay, let me get. There it is, Smite. There's my like smallest little nuke that I've got ready for a situation like this for mana efficiency. But it's also got a cooldown. I should have sat down. Oh well. And he's done. And there you go. And it's a fun camp. And just to quickly share thoughts. Ooh, Woo's Quivering. Did I just get a Woo's Quivering Staff? Oh, it's the... Dang. Wow. Wow. Look at that. I got some... I didn't even know those guys dropped that. That's epic. Somebody gave my little monk one of those in Kern's Tower. I had no idea that just dropped off of nameless mobs. So when you do get this camp going, depending on how many spawns you can take out before you get respawns, you're going to want to think about the 2 patrols that come right here. I usually start with one of them. If I, like at my level, I could probably clear both patrols and maybe even both of these little huts here, right? So what I would do is I would pull one side's patrol, let's say the right side, and then I would also pull one of the mobs from the right side gazebo, isn't that what it's called? But then I would leave that guy for a while, and I would shift my attention to the other side's patrol. And then maybe after that, I would pull him, or even pull one of those guys first and then pull him. So that next time when you're going through, you're not having to calm. There's not 2 spawns there, there's only 1. Then those spawns are not going to be close together, so you don't have to calm. I forget what the respawn time is for this zone. Let's take a brief look. Here it is, Emerald Jungle, but I'm not seeing any mention of a respawn time. Usually I think it's in there, right? Isn't it usually listed in here somewhere? Well, you could time it, but you want to break up that camp so you don't have to do comms. You want to reduce the need to calm. Not just for mana, actually much less for mana, more for safety. So you don't get that critical resist, you don't get charged and have to root and camp out. But yeah, I recommend if that does happen, you get 2 or 3 mobs. If you think you can survive, I highly recommend rooting and camping out so you don't have to get back here. I made it look easy, but believe me, it's not. I had a lot of trouble getting back here. And that's another problem with this camp. If you do die here and you're getting back without your gear, you got that lower charisma. But aside from those problems, the XP is good. You got a decent zone modifier, I believe. Let's take a look at the browser again. We got a zone modifier, takes it to 110. Okay, not great, but it's something. 110, 110%. You got a good selection of mobs. See, this fogs are blue, apparitions are green. For me, greater plague bones are blue. Remember, I'm 53. If you're here at 49, everything's blue. I think the apparitions and the lowest level spawns were green to me at 50, but everything else was blue. And probably now that I'm 53, see that Vapor Golem is still blue. Phantoms are definitely blue. That's your highest level undead right there. Greater Spur Bones are definitely green. And probably half of these Vapor Golems are green. I don't think the Haze Golems, which are lower than the Vapor Golems, spawn here at all. So they're the ones you see when you first enter the zone. This is a fun camp, and this zone is often populated. So you'll get partners. One time I was here with an enchanter, and I think he's actually in zone now. I think I saw his name, Ipno. There he is, a 52 illusionist. I think he was 50 or 51. Kind of doesn't play very often, right? Because it was a while ago. He charmed a fog golem, those highest level golems here. Gave him a couple of sticks that had life tap. We cleared all of the spawns in this area, and that's a lot. I mean, over on this side, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, patrol, 5, that guy 6, 7, 8. So let's just times that by 2, 16 spawns. We cleared them all. We had to leave, go back out to arena to get more mobs because we were just ripping it up. His fog golem, hasted with he gave him 2 life tap sticks. It was just beating the crap out of everything. And all I was doing was keeping it alive. And if I was getting close to full mana, throwing in a nuke. Yeah, it was fun. Another time, grouped here with 2 Necros. Now those guys, I've never been busier. I've played Clerics 4 times now. Twice on TLP, once, 20-some years ago, and now. Never been that busy in my life. They were needing heals. Their pets were needing heals because they were both charming, but we were doing pretty good too. I still don't think it was as good as just me and that enchanter though. But me and those 2 Necros were having fun. They had a couple of these phantoms charmed, gave them torches. So I was keeping the phantoms alive and also, charm breaks, and the Necros are already eating themselves anyway. So I was keeping the Necros alive, and they were going all over the place. I was having to run all over these bridges and stuff. Luckily, about 20 minutes in, one of them finally had the bright idea to give me a dead man floating so I could run across. And that's another way to sneak in here. If you want to get to this camp and you don't want to have to, if you want to reduce how much calming you have to do or invising you have to do, you can get a levitate and you can get up on this thing here. Walk, push yourself up. And to get up there, you might want to go up the steps and then come back floating. I forget exactly how to get up there, but I did it a few times. There's ways. And then from there, you can run over here, I do believe. But yeah, this was one of my favorite camps. And it has the added benefit of you're going to not always be alone like you would in Lower Guck. You're going to have some friends around here. And it was just tons of fun, you guys. Tons of fun. So this, I believe, is called the Moat Camp. Hence the Moat. It's not the Ramparts. For a long time, I thought it was called the Ramparts because I think these are Ramparts, right? If I'm not mistaken. But that's, I believe, referring to the second floor of City of Mist inside the zone. And fun, fun camp. You could easily get to level 53, even 54, going through the Spectres and then coming straight to City of Mist, going to the stables and then coming here and having a blast. And the cool thing is I got that staff. That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. It's nice. I'm glad that was on the video. I've camped here for a long time, never saw one before. So all right, guys, another solo cleric camp. I dare say it might be my favorite thus far to share with you. Have fun out there, and I will see you guys next time. Hey guys, I had one thought that I really feel I should mention. Just one last word of caution in regards to this camp. Make sure if you do this, you see there's greater plague bone, like what I was hunting at Dreadlands. Do not sit anywhere over here. Always stay to the sides. If you sit, you will aggro mobs through that door. You will get swarmed and you will die. I had it happen to me once. Luckily, I didn't need a repeat lesson on that one. So I wanted to put that in the video because I'd hate someone to actually listen to me and come here and then have that happen to them without warning. All right. See you guys later.